Hey guys, and welcome back. I'm Chris Mazzarella, and you're watching No Reserve Classics. And if you guys haven't done it already, make sure you hit that subscribe button because we have a ton of new inventory coming here, and you never know, your dream car could be in our next video. And here she is, guys, that beautiful 1968 Ford Mustang. Now this vehicle is an original Fastback vehicle, and it's also got that awesome candy apple red paint on there. Now this vehicle is a super solid vehicle that lived most of its life out in that dry summer heat of Texas. As you can tell, the originality of this vehicle, talking bumpers and glass and just a few accessories. Now this vehicle has a lot of OEM stamps on it that you can show the history of this vehicle of where it was built. And talking about where it was built, this vehicle also comes with an Elite Marty report that's going to show everything about this vehicle from when it was born, when it was built, to when it was sold. And I know you guys can't be with me here today with this beautiful turntable right behind me, but if you check us out at No Reserve Classics, you'll be actually able to take a virtual tour of this vehicle. Take this baby, put it on a pedestal, and spin it around 360 degrees. And after you're done looking at that beautiful candy apple red paint, take a view over to the inside and do the same thing, a 360-degree tour of the full interior of this vehicle as well. And if you guys have any questions about this vehicle, give us a call at 1-800-562-7815.
All right, guys, let's hear this baby roar. Whew, that sure does sound good and a nice, easy start. Let's take this baby on a ride. Hey guys, Joseph and Annie here from No Reserve Classics. And today I have this awesome opportunity to be able to drive this 1968 Fastback, real original Fastback, true time capsule. I mean, it's absolutely extraordinary to me when you can get into a car that's this old, 1968, right around 60 years old. And for it to be all original like this, I mean, the interior is completely original, gauges, steering wheel, shifter, everything is just so original. Of course, it is patinaed, but just everything works awesome. And I mean, for me, I love the patina because when I'm driving a classic car, I want to feel like I'm going back in time. I truly look at these cars like medication, and it's a complete time capsule and really pulls you back in time to be able to drive something like this. The car drives nice. I can take my hands off the steering wheel, and the power brakes do work really well. It also does have power steering. So it is an absolute breeze to drive this car. A lot of these 60s muscle cars don't have these amenities. They weren't optioned with power brakes or power steering. And this is a car that you could take out and drive and enjoy on a daily basis. I mean, it's got an upgraded carburetor, it's got an upgraded 302 motor, so it's definitely got a little bit more giddy up than the 289 that would have came in here before. Intake manifold, the Edelbrock Performer intake manifold. And again, back to the Edelbrock carburetor, it's equipped with an electric choke. So it is a breeze to start this thing, man. When I first started it, in the barn, I didn't have to touch the gas at all. There was no crazy pumping of the gas, and that was absolutely awesome. It's got brand new wheels and tires. The suspension has all been completely rebuilt. It's got all Scott Drake shocks on all four corners. Speedometer gauge works great. Alternator gauge, fuel gauge, temperature gauge. The blinkers in the hood still work phenomenal. You can see those on the hood scoops. I mean, the gear indicator lights still work great. Now again, this is not a fully restored car. This is not a restored car at all. It's got a lot of the original stampings on the front fenders or the rear quarters, the trunk, which is really cool. The gentleman that had owned this car prior to us purchasing it owned the car for about 25 years, which is pretty cool. And before him, he got the car from Texas, so nice dry climate territory. And the car spent most of its life in Texas. Makes a difference because that's probably why a lot of the metal is the original metal. Because if this car was with us in the East Coast since it was born, it would never last the test of time. And it's rare to be able to get a real true 1968 Fastback that's original as this one, that is a great driver quality car that someone can get out there and enjoy right away. The other cool thing about this car, it's an original candy apple red car, which is a nice desirable color, and it still retains that original color code. Overall, phenomenal acceleration. The dual exhaust sounds great. It's got brand new wheels and tires. It's got brand new Scott Drake shocks on all four corners, so comfortable. Most important thing is we completely rebuilt the whole front end with a front end rebuild kit, if I'm not mistaken, also from Scott Drake. So the car turns really well, it performs really well, and it's nice. I mean, everything's stock and works great, and I'm driving 40 miles per hour. This muscle car sounds phenomenal. I feel comfortable driving it. It's got nice tight steering. It's very responsive. Everything works great. The radial tires make a big difference. The upgraded shocks make a big difference. And the full front end rebuild kit makes a big difference. We also had the car obviously professionally wheel lined after all that was done. So it drives nice and straight. I don't need to keep my hands on the steering wheel. It's got a 1968 Mustang Fastback that someone could drive and enjoy on a daily basis or just a great weekend car.
Awesome, Joe, and thank you for bringing back this car in one piece. I'm sure you enjoyed that ride. Now guys, outside of that vehicle, how nice does that paint look? This was an original candy apple red paint from the factory, and it was recoated with that same candy apple red paint, giving it that awesome reflectiveness that you see here today. Now, as we go through this vehicle, you're gonna notice only one or two items that we have changed and upgraded to. Let's check out the headlights. As we move towards the front of the vehicle, you're gonna see those crystal clear headlights. Back in the day, this vehicle would have came with a halogen bulb, giving you limited visibility at night. We decided that this vehicle should be driven. So this vehicle should be driven in the daytime, nighttime, any time of the year, 365 days a year. In the front of this vehicle, we removed those headlight housings and installed an LED kit with a brand new housing, giving you a great look on the road ahead. Now, as we're still looking at the front of the vehicle, you're gonna notice the chrome bumpers. The chrome bumpers, to my understanding, are original front and rear. Normally, typically you would see a pitting or a peelization of the chrome that is disassembling itself from the metal. You're not gonna see that here because the vehicle spent most of its life in a dry heat such as Texas. And moving down the side of this vehicle, you're gonna notice those body lines. They are exceptional. If you also notice at some of these body lines, you're gonna notice the gapping, and that is the distance between any material to itself. So the gapping from the front fender to the door, from the door to the quarter panel, from the hood to the fender. Now, all the gapping is very nice. As we're moving up from those door gaps and all those beautiful body lines in this vehicle, you're gonna notice the glass. The glass is original, made from Carlite back in the 60s. They were manufactured to deal with Ford. So as we walk around this vehicle, you're gonna notice all those stamps that are still on this vehicle as of today, making sure that this vehicle did come with those glass from the factory. And last but not least, guys, these beautiful 15-inch Magnum wheels. They are wrapped in that beautiful BF Goodrich radial TAs with that awesome white lettering on there, just giving it that quality muscle car look. And there you are, guys. There she is, that beautiful 302 cubic inch Ford motor. Now, doesn't she look stunning under there? Super, really clean under hood. Now, as we look at this motor, we're gonna notice a few upgraded parts, such as the Edelbrock dress-up kit. That's gonna include our air intake element, our valve covers, as well as a chrome intake manifold, giving it that awesome look, but just a little bit more power. On top of that, we got that Edelbrock carburetor with an electronic choke. Now, back in the day, this vehicle would have been very hard to start with a manual choke. This vehicle has an electronic choke, so it's gonna take that, it's gonna make it a lot easier, basically. So you're gonna be able to put the key in the ignition, turn it, and go without pumping the gas, waiting for that choke to automatically adjust, move it back and forth. It's gonna do all the work for you, just making it a little bit easier. Now, as we're looking around the motor, you're gonna notice a few brand new nuts and bolts. The shock towers are brand new with those beautiful Scott Drake shocks in there as well. Right to the right of that and to the left of that, on each side, you're gonna notice those OEM factory stamps made from Ford, meaning that when this vehicle left the plant in Metuchen, New Jersey, all the metal on this vehicle was stamped with a certain number and a certain code on there stating that this metal is original. This is a Ford original part, which is really cool, talking over 50 years later, still having these parts on this vehicle. As we look around a little bit more, you're gonna notice a lot of OEM compartments. You're gonna notice your OEM fluid reservoir. You're gonna notice your OEM radiator. Underneath that, we have our awesome power steering unit that is original. Talking about a little bit more power, we got the power brakes. And a nice little cool feature is on this big end brake is that you're able to adjust it. So if you turn that baby just a little bit to the left, you're gonna have a little bit softer brakes. Turn it to the right, you'll be able to lock those brakes up right on a dime. Now, not only is it a pleasure to pop this hood and just show your buddies, but might as well take it to a car show as well. She'll definitely win some really cool awards the way this baby looks, like a nice suit and tie underneath. Really, really clean and really elegant. And this is where the magic happens. Now, we're gonna spend most of our days and most of our time in the driver's seat. Now, inside, you're gonna notice that black interior. Got the high bucket seats for the driver and the passenger, as well as the bucket seats in the rear. Now, as we're looking at the road ahead, you're gonna notice that beautiful dash and that center console you're gonna get when you would have had 50 years ago. Now, it does have a really cool upgraded component that you normally wouldn't see in this vehicle, which would be USB. That radio looks original, but it's not. If you lift up the flap right underneath that radio, it's gonna have a USB cable. So you're gonna be able to plug your phone in and actually listen to some modern tunes as you're driving on the road ahead. You are surrounded by 4 interior speakers. So on the bottom, you're gonna have a really nice kick panel, as well in the rear, you're gonna have 2 more speakers. So you're gonna have 4 speakers surrounding you while you're driving on the road ahead. Now, talking about functional items, all the lighting in this car works. So as you open the vehicle during the day or at night, the interior is completely illuminated in some of the other vehicles that normally it wouldn't have, such as in the center console, it lights up the entire floor in the back. Just a nice little touch that they installed about 50 years ago, giving you a visibility at night. In the rear, you're gonna notice those awesome levers. Those levers right above your head is gonna create airflow into the rear. You simply slide them open, you're gonna get that fresh air just as you would as if you were in the front seat, cracking these quarter windows open and letting that airflow going through your hair and just enjoying that ride. Now, we are in 2021, but once you get into this vehicle, you're gonna feel like you just rolled off the lot in 1968, driving this beautiful Ford Mustang. Now, as we transition to the underbody of this vehicle, you're gonna get that awesome toy car look underneath, that awesome semi-gloss paint from front to rear, as well as that awesome coated exhaust that runs from the front of the vehicle all the way to the back as well. Now, as I was saying before, that Texas dry heat. You're gonna get that awesome integrity of that underbody underneath, looking absolutely stunning. Now, we did make a few changes to the front of this vehicle, and when I mean changes, I mean upgrades. When we got this vehicle, we took this vehicle on a test drive. We noticed that the steering was a little bit off and the car didn't support the roads as it normally should. We took the vehicle, put it up on a lift, and we noticed that the vehicle front steering kit was not correct. It needed to be replaced and upgraded. So we got the Mr. Mustang Deluxe front suspension rebuild kit. Now, that kit does include inner and outer tie rods. That's gonna do your ball joints and a bunch of other parts, such as your control arms. So brand new bushings and brand new ball joints throughout the front of this vehicle. After we took that vehicle for a test drive, we noticed it wasn't soaking up a lot of those potholes that we have on our roads on the East Coast. We took the vehicle back on the lift, put a Scott Drake suspension on the fronts and the rears, so brand new shocks throughout the whole entire vehicle. You're gonna be able to turn this vehicle from left to right on any type of sidewinding roads or even just cruising. And another cool thing, stopping. It does have power brakes going throughout this vehicle. And holding all that horsepower in is that awesome Ford rear end with those 279 gears. Now, whether you're doing a Sunday drive or a highway drive, this vehicle will be able to take you there and enjoy it the whole way. And there you guys have it, that beautiful 1968 Ford Mustang Fastback. That awesome, beautiful candy apple red paint, that 302 motor in there, automatic transmission, and those awesome 279 gears in the rear. Awesome, ready for that highway drive. And once again, guys, I'm Chris Mazzarella, and you're watching No Reserve Classics. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And if you guys see anything that you like over here, leave a comment down below in the comment section. And guys, if you really like what you see and you want one of these bad boys at your house, don't forget to give us a call, 1-800-562-7815, and I'll see you guys in the next video.